When I think about my life and consider all my past events, especially the ones that are really significant for me, because I don't believe we remember everything from our past in a very precise way. The way we remember it change a lot depending on how we are feeling right now, on what conditions are we right now, whether we are in a place where we are happy and grateful, or in a place where we are sad, or we are feeling resentment, or hatred, or fear. Everything is related to the present moment and the way you are reconsidering your past. And yesterday I was talking to a friend. We went for a drink and we were talking about our paths and our journeys. It has been 6 months that we didn't meet, and most of us have been through a lot in our lives. For me personally, it was a new job, um, new ideas that came to me, new realizations, more awareness. And for him, it was the same thing. And it's very interesting because we were in a place where we were sharing about our growth, what we are learning, how we want to self develop ourselves and to improve ourselves. The fact that it's really important to grab the lesson from our past and move forward with more self awareness and self understanding. Be in a place where you are aware that you need to let go of your past, or at least the definitions that are limiting you from your past, by turning them into something productive, something positive, a lesson that you have learned to help you to grow. And this person have been interesting in my life because I have met him in a moment of my life where I was in a dark place. I was in a toxic relationship with a narcissistic abuser, and I was lonely, I was desperate. I was in a place where I thought nobody cares, nobody can listen, and I was isolated from everyone, and the only reference for me was this person I was with. Up until a day where I accumulated a lot of information that helped me to make a decision to leave this person, to leave the relation, and to move on and be ready and willing to pay the price, because I decided I can't take it anymore and I want to make a difference in my life. I want to change it and to improve it. I cannot stay in this kind of toxic relationships anymore, and I need to understand why is it happening to me, and most importantly, how can I move forward from it? How can I break through and become a better person, a person that cannot find herself in similar situations anymore? And what helped me was a lot of books, a lot of podcasts, a lot of videos. But I believe the most important thing was to meet this person and another of our friends, and for them to be able and willing to support me without judging me, without blaming me. They simply opened their door and welcomed me in their place, and they took care of me. They gave me a place to sleep in, a place where I felt safe. Nobody was judging me or blaming me because I was in such a relationship, or because of the choices I made, or because of the way I was feeling or acting. They really welcomed me with an unconditional love and a respect. And they showed me that I can be heard, I can be seen without conditions, without behaving in a certain way, trying to please someone, trying to meet their needs and expectations and anticipate them, and be silent when they are aggressive or abusing me. And I believe that it happened really in the perfect timing, when I was really ready to do it. And that is for me the most precious lesson I have learned on that period. And I keep applying and evolving with it. I keep improving it and testing it and making it better for myself. And I want to share it with others because I believe that we really do have what we need when we need it. And I really believe that it's not about the time where it's going to happen, whether it's too late or too early. It's more about timing. And it's all related to a very important factor, which is to choose yourself, to choose to be following what resonates with you, what makes you feel better. It's a very healthy, selfish way to start focusing on within, listening to yourself, and finally discovering that you do have needs and you might have been communicating your needs in a wrong way because it didn't bring you what you were expecting. So you have been disappointed. You have been somehow creating for yourself a reality that would project to you this urge to learn to know yourself better, this urge to learn to communicate your needs better, to set your boundaries better, and to respect yourself rather than expecting from others to respect you. And that's what happened when finally, after a year and a half of toxic relationship, continuous abuse, continuous betraying, continuous lies, continuous disrespect of myself, I finally found the courage to just leave this relationship. Knowing that it was a relationship with my boss. He was my boss. He helped me to find this job with him. He supported me. So I will be always grateful for what have been positive to me in this relationship. Because in any given situation that you have been through, even if it's the worst situation in the world, believe me, there is value on it. It have been serving you some way, even if it's by waking you up. Because sometimes it's by going through hell that you will find heaven, by going through negative events, by being abused by someone, by being mistreated and disrespected, that you finally wake up and realize what you don't prefer to have anymore in your life. It's a powerful act of courage to finally say, you know what? I love myself more than the fear of facing the unknown. I want to respect myself more than feeling safe. And that's when you start finding the ideas, finding the courage, finding the motivation, and also becoming curious about what is happening, why is it happening, and how to shift from that reality to a different one that really reflects what is it that you truly want for yourself and prefer, rather than settling for less because you are afraid and you believe that you cannot deserve more or obtain more, believing that this is the most that you can have from life. And that had been my path for long years. It didn't start with my narcissistic relationship, actually. I realized that it had been within me from my childhood. And you might be familiar with the inner child work, shadow works, and maybe you have heard about the fact that the way we are today, the belief that we do have today, the definitions that we have of life and the meanings, all our decisions and choices are coming from that place, from that definitions. And if you have been hurt, if you have developed a huge urge to protect yourself, or maybe the urge to please others in order to receive love, that is because in your childhood, somewhere, someone, it might be your parent or another figure, have been acting with you in a certain way, and what you defined it to be was, this is how I can be loved. I need to be enough to be loved. I need to be acting a certain way. I need to do things to please a person so they can love me. I believe, in my point of view at least, what happened to me was I thought that love cannot be unconditional. I didn't deserve to be loved unconditionally without giving something in return. And in a path of my life where I have lost my mother, and I was really scared to face my father directly because he represented for me authority, fear, control, and power that I couldn't handle by my own. I was scared of it. When my mother died, for me, it was as if this wall that was protecting me just fell apart. Maybe somehow, unconsciously, I thought that my mother betrayed me when she died and she abandoned me, and that my father will never be able to love me in the same way. So it's gonna be for me a war, a fight to survive, to make my point, to be able to exist in this life. But it was challenging. And my sister came into the frame and she was supportive and she was there. But what happened within me is very interesting. And you might have been through something similar. That's why I'm sharing it with you. The figure of my sister was for me really important because it was there to replace the figure of my mother and protect me from my father. So I gave her a role in my life. I was expecting something from her. And I don't know how in my mind I decided that for me to keep her and to protect me from my father, I had to please her. It's as if to keep this safety, I needed to do something in return. She never asked for it. It was all in my mind as a child to give this meaning that if I want to be loved by someone, if I want to be safe and protected, I need to behave, to be good, so they don't run away. I don't know if you see the connection. And what's interesting that today in my life, after that period, I developed this way of perceiving life and this way of perceiving how relationships work, where I thought that I would never be enough unless I do something to please the people that I really want to be loved from. My relationship with this narcissistic person have been for me the last drop that would wake me up and invite me. It was a signal for me to wake up and check my definitions, check the meanings that I'm giving to things, and decide finally what is it that I really want, to find my own true definition of what is love. And the fact that I was in this toxic relationship, living a life where I tried to please, and as an empath, it was really for me important to get a feedback, to please, to anticipate. And you have no idea how confusing it is to be an empath living with a narcissistic abuser and trying to anticipate their moves, something that is impossible to anticipate because I don't believe that neither them do know what they are anticipating. From one moment they are kind and loving, and one right after they are mean to you, they abuse you, they insult you, they are bad to you, and they make you feel as shit for nothing. You are not able to find any conducting reason or motivation for this shift in character, for this shift in behavior. Coming from one moment they love you and they see in you the most amazing person, maybe giving you gifts or treating you well, to a moment right after where they insult you and they hate you and they make you feel like you are trash or like you are garbage. And this is confusing for an empath especially because an empath have the attitude of feeling the energy of people and being able to see their pattern and anticipating what is it that might make them feel bad or good, and be able to go through it, to support them and avoid for them this. And this is something I've learned from my childhood. I have always been someone that wanted to anticipate others. I didn't do it because it's a superpower, or I think that it have been developed in me because I used to live in a family that is unique as any family in the world, but on which, for example, with the figure of the father that do have the mindset of the father have to have the power in the house, he decide of everything, and he can punish you physically and emotionally, and whatever he says, that it is. So you have to protect yourself to create your safety because you don't want to be punished. You don't want someone to take away from you something that you are enjoying. And you start anticipating when they are not in the good mood, when they are angry, when they are upset, and you anticipate it in order to maintain the peace in the house and maintain your own peace. And if you have to play small, if you have to please, if you have to do things in order to maintain this calm, you will do it at any cost, because for you the most important thing is not to be punished, not to be dismissed, and not for you to be deprived of anything. And it is a cycle that have been following me. It's this survival mechanism that I developed from my childhood that brought to me a lot of toxic relationships, not only in my love life, but also in my professional life. I have been through jobs and experiences where I have been dealing with people that do have this narcissistic attitude, do have this toxic way of relating with others. But today, when I think about it, I understand that it's not necessarily that those people are narcissistic. Maybe they are. It's not my place to define them because I don't know the full picture. But I do recognize that I have been projecting this to me, to myself in my life, because it is what I believe to be a relationship, to be an interaction with others, and to be equal to surviving. And that is an interesting awareness to get at a certain point in your life when you are honest with yourself and you do this self-check, this true questioning yourself, and with honesty answering all the questions, even they are frightening you, even if it's not what you want to hear. Because I don't believe it's nice to learn and to hear that you are projecting all those toxic situations in your life. It's your responsibility. It's not that everyone is toxic. It's not that everyone is narcissistic. And probably we do all maybe have this version of ourselves. It depends on what conditions we are in. Because most of human beings do also a lot adapt to circumstances and to conditions and to situations rather than being the responsible of your state of being in any given circumstance. And that is something important that we need to also learn and develop in ourselves. So this toxic relationship have really been for me a great tool to wake up for myself, to wake up and understand that I cannot stay in this kind of definitions and meanings of life anymore because I don't agree with them and I don't believe that life can only be this and you cannot be surviving all your life and settling for anything. It have been okay for me to be doing so in my family because I was a children living in a family that unfortunately haven't been taught to communicate with their kids, haven't been taught to know themselves, to understand and respect needs of others or theirs, or to understand the emotional world that is within us and how to respect it, honor it, express it, and go through it. So I cannot blame anyone. It's just that what it is. And maybe it was for me an opportunity in my life as a human being to learn those things for myself, to finally understand how important it is to know yourself, to be able to recognize what is it that you prefer in a situation or you don't prefer, and be able to create for yourself what you prefer, to look for it, to communicate it. And all of this can only happen if you become self-aware. Awareness is a very important key because I believe that we cannot change anything in ourselves. We cannot improve anything. We cannot grow through things or break through them if we are not, first of all, aware of where we are. What are the present results that we have? And whether we really are enjoying them and like them or not. And if we don't like them and don't prefer them, consider that we can change them and start searching for the evidence of what is it that we truly prefer, rather than staying there trying to survive it and trying to live with it. So all of this is just to remind you that everything that you have been through can either be your worst enemy or your best friend. And it's something that only you can decide. So if you want to stay in the past, blaming yourself, feeling guilty, ashamed, and constantly maybe punishing yourself for what happened to you, or blaming others and hating them for what happened to you, or on the other hand, you can start choosing something different, choosing to see your past as an opportunity to learn and to grow, an opportunity to be more self-aware and to know yourself better, to listen to yourself better, and to finally understand your needs, communicate them in a better way, in a way that resonates with you truly, and also get to a point where you learn what is really unconditional love and that you deserve it. Because I discovered for myself that living a life where I believe that I am not good enough, I have to do something to get the love of others and their appreciation or approval, I moved to a place where I learned that love cannot be conditional. I cannot be expecting from you things in order to love you. I cannot also be hard on myself and be chasing the approvals of others in order to be enough. What is key in this, for me at least, is to understand that love have been defined wrongly for me. I have been living love, practicing it, receiving it, and giving it in a wrong way. A wrong way for me because it never have resonated with me. And I have been living with the belief that this is the only way to love and be loved. You need to be doing certain things, acting in a certain way, and for you to receive the love of others. And on the other hand, be given love unconditionally, which I think is not balanced and it's not fair for me. Because how can I share with you that I love you if I don't know what love is? If I don't know how to say it to you? And how can I be in harmony with someone to whom I give unconditional love, but from whom I just deserve love when they reputate it to be enough? When they reputate that I am at a level where I can be loved. And this is not to say that you need to love people the way they are, and even if they treat you badly, you just keep loving them because this is unconditional love. I'm talking about finding your place where you, first of all, start really loving yourself unconditionally, being kind to yourself and compassionate, being understanding. When I did this work, and I keep doing it, of shadow work and inner child work, I realized that there is a lot that needs to be covered in my life, a lot to be understood, a lot to be acknowledged and allowed, because this is the way to create awareness around it, understand where am I coming from, what are my limiting beliefs, the way I'm defining life for myself, and not from a place of blaming myself because I'm not good enough, or as a tool to validate how not good enough I am or how not deserving I am. It's from a place of, I see now the situation. I see that I am the product of my beliefs, and most of my beliefs aren't even created from a place of awareness of choosing what does really resonate with me, what does really mean for me anything. They were created from experiences out of protection, based on all the data. Most of it is a data that I wasn't able to consciously elaborate and process because I was a child. I was in a dynamic. I was given meanings and I was chasing love. We all want to receive love and approval from our family. But today I'm an adult and I can understand things in a different way. Today I do know that it's coming, that I need to love myself first, to respect myself. I know that today I do have the power to make my own decisions, to write for myself my own beliefs, and to define things today from a place of consciousness and awareness, from experience, from knowing. All that I have been through have been serving me, because without all those experiences, without all those definitions, I wouldn't be able to be who am I today. So there is a lot to be grateful for. And every experience that you have been through today can be redefined. The meaning can be different. When I was in my toxic relationship, I thought that life was unfair with me, that life is not worth living, it's a surviving war, and everyone is gonna hurt me. So I developed this protection for myself. I started being aggressive and angry with people. I was acting exactly as the famous quote, hurt people hurt. I was hurt and I was hurting others to protect myself. And I wasn't even aware of what I was doing, up until a moment where I kept hearing from others that I was hurting them, that I was very mad, that I was very angry, that I do have a lot of resentment within me, and I needed to make peace with myself. At the beginning, it was triggering me, it was upsetting me, but I decided to understand Why was I mad? Why was I angry? Why did I have all this resentment? And it was because I was hurt and I didn't want it to be hurt anymore. Being hurt hurts a lot. It's a very dark place to be in because you feel invisible, you feel unheard, invisible, hated, not enough, and you feel lost and you don't know what to do. And most importantly, you don't want to go through that experience anymore. So what you do is to protect yourself, to commit to protecting yourself. But when you protect yourself without knowing what you are protecting yourself from and how to really do it, and you go in life believing that you are having a war against everyone and everything, you are going to end up hurting yourself and others along the way. And that was for me an interesting lesson to learn that I want to share with you today. You don't have to be fighting. You don't have to be in a war. Your life don't have to be about surviving, proving your point, hurting others in order to avoid being hurt. You can start by having a very honest conversation with yourself to check whether you are really hurt or not. Why are you hurt? What hurted you until now? And I believe it is all about the meanings that we are giving to things, meanings that have been given in an unconscious way from a version of you that is 10 years old or 7 years old, that today cannot serve you anymore. You cannot be letting these children in the driving seat, as in the reality, you cannot be letting a children drive your car and taking you from one point to the other, because you know that they don't have all the skills and knowledge that you do have as an adult. They don't have the driving license. So I don't believe you are going to give them all your trust and let them drive the car for you. You would be telling them with love and affection to sit near to you, to watch the road, to have fun. You've got this, and you are going to take them where they need to go, to trust you. And that's, I think, the greatest thing that I have discovered for myself. And I'm doing it. I'm taking care of the children that is within me. I'm working on my shadows, because now I understand that my shadows aren't monsters. They are just kids playing, and kids that want to play, to have fun, to be accepted unconditionally and loved. And they will give you all the joy and happiness of the world. All they want is to really be children and to live their life. What's important here is to really, rather than acting out of fear and keep hurting yourself and others, take a moment with yourself. Take a moment to understand, why are you angry? Why are you upset? What is it that is hurting you so much? And what is it that you are so afraid of? And if you can shift the relationship with your fears, shift the relationship with your past, and shift the relationship with your shadows, and acknowledge that today you can communicate in a calmer way. You can protect yourself without hurting others or yourself. And when you become self-aware, when you know yourself very well, you know who you are, what you prefer, what you don't prefer, understand what your emotions are constantly showing you and pointing to you. Understand that when you are angry, it's because there are boundaries that need to be clarified with yourself, first of all, and communicated to others in a healthy way. You don't have to scream louder to make your point. Sometimes there is no point to be made. It's more about you with yourself. When you understand that the war was within yourself, it had never been about the world and others. Others and the world are insignificant. They are meaningless, not in a negative way, but simply because you, from your perception, you give the meaning to things. And if you have been up until now, like me, perceiving everything as something to protect yourself from, you can today decide to see it differently, because it is different and it can be. It's all in your perception. Whatever you believe to be true is going to be true for yourself, because life is a reflection of who you are. If you are seeing things that you don't like, people that you don't appreciate, behaviors that you really resent and hate and or don't tolerate, it's for you an invitation to go inward and understand where is it, for example, that you are not seeing yourself. What is it that you are not hearing yourself? If you are jealous, what is it that you are depriving yourself from? What is it that inspires you on the thing that you are jealous of? No matter what is the negative emotion that you are feeling or the negative belief that you have, there is at least the opposite of it in the positive side. Not mentioning all the nuances that are in the between. And own your responsibility. Understand that it is your job to perceive things, to give meaning to things, to either react to life or respond to it. And it is your job to check and choose what state of being you want to be in your life. Because remember, circumstances don't matter. Your state of being does. So what state of being you want to be in from now on? I would end up this video with a very simple tool or a very simple advice for you. And it is to commit from now on to check your definitions and make sure that those definitions are constantly updated to resonate with you and with who you are right now. You are an infinite being, you are powerful, but it's all about how you are going to use this power, how you are going to develop it to serve you or not to serve you. Even though it will always serve you, but choose your way, choose what resonates with you, what is positive for you, and give enough love to yourself. Give enough credit to yourself and enough compassion, and create a healthy partnership with yourself, with your inner child, and all the shadows that are in your life. Because each and every time there is an experience, there is something that is triggering you, it is here to remind you that you are enough, and it's an opportunity for you to update that limiting belief that you have about yourself, to rewrite that story. I would love to share with you a video that I'm going to link in the description below that explains the loop of our belief system and how it conditions our life, providing you with tools also to start using this pattern for your advantage and start to learn how to respond to life rather than reacting, start to interrogate the real root reason for which you are getting the result that you want in whatever circumstance or situation of your life. I think it's going to be very insightful and helpful. And let me know in the comments, what are you learning now? What experience have been your wake-up call? What is it that in your life really invited you to acknowledge yourself and become more self-aware? Let me know in your comments, and I want to thank you for your time and dedication, and thank you for investing in yourself and really committing to become a better version of yourself. You've got this. It's on your hand, and you do have a lot of material, mine and of others. Don't hesitate to subscribe to my channel if you love this content, and hit the like button if you enjoyed this content, and I can't wait to see you in the next video. Much love.